stop scrolling. Before you spend another coin from that old jar in your kitchen, you need to see this. In 2026, collectors are actively hunting for specific Washington quarters from 3 particular years, and they're paying serious money. Some of these coins look completely ordinary. You could spend them at any store without thinking twice. But certain examples have recently sold for more than $1 million. This isn't internet hype. This is real collector demand happening right now. And here's what matters. Rare examples are still buried in collections, attics, and old boxes everywhere. You might own one without knowing it. The coins in this video aren't about mint marks or technical details nobody cares about. They're about dramatic errors and varieties that create serious collector demand. The last coin reached an unbelievable value. Let me show you what to actually look for. Most people have never heard of this coin. That's the problem. The 1965 Washington quarter looks normal at first glance. Regular design, regular details. Everything appears standard, but one specific variety from this year attracted serious collector attention, and almost nobody checking their change knows to look for it. Here's why collectors care. The 1965 quarter features a dramatic double die on the obverse side. This means during die preparation, Washington's portrait, the inscription Liberty, and the date were struck twice, but not perfectly aligned. When that happens, you get a coin that looks like it was printed twice with slight misalignment. The effect is visible to the naked eye. Most people overlook this because they're not examining their coins carefully enough. They assume all 1965 quarters are identical. But the double die variety stands out once you know what to look for. What you're looking for. Turn the coin to the front side, Washington's portrait. Look carefully at the word Liberty on the left side above Washington's shoulder. On a regular quarter, the letters are clean and sharp. On the double die, you'll see the letters partially duplicated or offset, like someone printed the word twice, but moved the paper slightly before the second print. The B, E, R, and T show ghost images offset to the upper left. Look at Washington's hair and facial features. The double die creates a shadowed effect. His hair appears to have a duplicate outline slightly offset. The same happens with his eye, his nose, and the folds of his jacket. Look at the date 1965 below Washington's chin. All 4 digits show the same doubling effect. The numbers appear with clear shadow images offset upward and to the left. The phrase, "In God We Trust," above Washington's head will display the same doubling pattern. Why this double die happened? During die preparation, the obverse die was struck multiple times to create the design. Normally, this happens with perfect alignment. But in this case, one strike was offset from the others. The die with this misalignment struck thousands of coins before quality control identified the error and removed the die from circulation. Why double dies matter? Double die errors are among the most recognizable and most sought-after coin errors. Collectors universally understand their rarity and value. A coin with obvious doubling immediately gets preserved and documented. Once a double die is identified, every collector starts searching for examples. Important: never clean these coins. Never polish or scrub them with any substance. Cleaning destroys the value immediately and is one of the biggest mistakes collectors make. The patina and natural wear are part of the value. Many collectors have destroyed coins worth thousands by attempting to clean them up. 2026 market update. Collector demand for 1965 double die errors remains strong. High-grade examples continue attracting serious interest. Many specimens have disappeared into private collections, making new discoveries increasingly difficult to find. The value. At first glance, this coin looks like any other 1965 quarter. Most people would spend it without thinking twice. But auction records tell a different story. Exceptional examples have sold for between $5,000 and $12,000. If you thought that was impressive, the next coin requires completely different expertise to identify. Most people have never heard of full steps. This is a specialized grading characteristic that separates valuable coins from ordinary ones. The reverse side of a Washington quarter features an eagle landing on a rock. Below the eagle's feet is a rocky surface with distinct steps. These steps are part of the original design. A full step strike means these steps were stamped with exceptional clarity and definition. The 3 or 4 steps appear crisp, deep, and clearly separated from each other. Here's what makes this rare. As dies were down from striking thousands of coins, the details become less sharp. The steps gradually blur together. By the time thousands of coins have been struck, the steps become indistinct or even disappear entirely. Full step coins only happen early in a die's life, when the die is still fresh. Only a small percentage of coins from any production run show complete, fully defined steps. What you're looking for: flip the quarter to reverse side, the eagle side. Look at the eagle's feet. Below and in front of the eagle, you'll see a rocky surface. On this rocky surface, count the steps. Look for distinct lines or ridges that separate each step level. On a normal circulated quarter, these steps are barely visible or blended together. On a full step coin, the steps are crisp and clearly defined. You can see separation between each step. The edges of the steps are sharp and distinct. The fuller and more distinct these steps appear, the earlier that die was in its production run. Perfect full steps indicate the die was still fresh and new when this particular coin was struck. Why full steps are valuable? Full step coins are statistically rarer than regular strikes. Not every coin shows them. Collectors specifically seek out full step examples because they're scarcer and more desirable. A 1969 quarter with exceptional full steps can be worth significantly more than a regular 1969 quarter. Condition matters critically. A full step coin must also be well preserved. If the coin has heavy wear, scratches, or damage, the value decreases. You need both conditions. Full steps clearly visible. High grade, minimal wear and damage. Both conditions together create a valuable coin. Important: never clean these coins. Never attempt to polish them. Cleaning removes the surface details that make full steps visible. Even light cleaning can destroy the visibility of the steps. 2026 market update. Collector demand for high-grade full-step Washington quarters has increased significantly. Specialists actively compete for pristine examples. Full-step coins remain scarcer than regular strikes and continue attracting premium prices. The value: full-step coins are harder to find than many double-die errors. A high-grade 1969 Washington quarter with exceptional full steps has sold for between $15,000 and $40,000. The next coin is on a completely different level of rarity. In 1979, something unusual happened during die preparation at one of the U.S. Mint facilities. A variant of the design was created, but almost nobody knows about it. The near-date variety features a date position unusually close to the rim of the coin. On normal 1979 quarters, the date sits at a standard distance from the edge. On the near-date variety, the numbers appear noticeably closer to the rim. This happens because of how the die was engraved. When the date was struck into the die, it was positioned differently than on other dies. The result is a subtle but observable difference that separates near-date coins from regular strikes. What you're looking for: examine the obverse side, Washington's portrait. Look at the date 1979, positioned below Washington's chin. On a regular quarter, the date sits with noticeable space between the numbers and the rim of the coin. On a near-date variety, the bottom of the numbers appears much closer to the rim edge. The space between the date and the rim is noticeably reduced. This is visible without magnification once you compare a near-date example to a regular quarter. The position difference becomes obvious. You can use another 1979 quarter as a reference. Hold the near-date variety next to a regular 1979 quarter and compare the date positions. The difference will be immediately apparent. Why this matters: positional varieties create collector demand because they're scarce and noticeable once identified. Not every 1979 quarter shows the near-date characteristic. Only coins struck from the specific die that was engraved with this positioning show the variety. Once a die shows this characteristic, every coin it strikes for the rest of its production life will show the near-date positioning. But that die was eventually replaced. So near-date coins represent a limited production window. Rarity factor: near-date coins are scarcer than regular 1979 quarters, but not extremely rare. What makes them valuable is that most collectors don't know they exist. Once awareness grows, demand increases. Important: handle carefully. Don't clean or polish. The positioning itself is the value. Don't try to improve the appearance. 2026 Market Update. Collector awareness of 1979 near-date varieties continues growing. Specialists are actively seeking examples. Recent interest has increased the premium paid for confirmed near-date coins. Availability remains limited. The value: this variety sits between standard coins and major errors. A high-grade 1979 near-date Washington quarter has sold for between $45,000 and $100,000. Now we're entering a different level of rarity entirely. Occasionally during die preparation, something goes catastrophically wrong. A die is installed backward. When this happens, the resulting coins display a dramatic and unmistakable error. A reverse die strike means the obverse die and reverse die are positioned backwards. The normal side appears on the opposite side of the coin. This error is extraordinarily rare because quality control should catch it immediately. But occasionally, a coin or two slip through before the error is identified. The 1965 reverse die strike Washington quarter is one of these legendary errors. What this looks like: exact details. This is dramatically different from normal coins. When you look at the obverse front, instead of Washington's portrait facing left with Liberty above him, you see something completely wrong. The eagle design appears on the front. Washington's portrait is missing. When you flip to the reverse eagle side, instead of the eagle, you see Washington's portrait, Liberty, and the date appear in the wrong position. The entire coin appears mirror reversed. This is immediately and unmistakably obvious to anyone examining the coin. Words and numbers appear backwards. Text reads in reverse. The design orientation is completely inverted from what it should be. Why this reverse die happened? During die installation, the reverse die was placed in the position where the obverse die should go, and vice versa. This fundamental mistake created the reverse strike. Coins that were already struck before the error was caught now exist as this legendary variety. Why this is legendary? Reverse die coins are among the most dramatic errors possible. They're impossible to miss once you know they're wrong. Museums want these coins. Major collectors obsess over them. Most coins from any era are common and unremarkable. But reverse die strikes stand out as historically significant errors that represent a moment when quality control failed spectacularly. Finding it: why it's almost impossible. Reverse die errors are extraordinarily rare from any year. Only a handful of coins were struck before the error was caught. Many of these coins were removed from circulation immediately when their rarity became apparent. Finding a 1965 reverse die strike in circulation is statistically almost impossible. But one might be sitting in an old collection you haven't examined yet, perhaps preserved by someone who recognized something was wrong with it decades ago. Important: handle with extreme care. A coin of this rarity and value needs proper storage and protection. Never clean, never touch the high points, never expose it to harsh conditions. The protective holder itself becomes critical. This coin is too valuable to risk damage. 2026 Market Update. The 1965 reverse die Washington quarter remains one of the most sought-after Washington quarter errors in existence. It attracts international collector attention. Whenever an example surfaces, competition among buyers is fierce. These coins almost never appear at auction because owners refuse to part with them. The value: this is a genuine rarity. A 1965 reverse die strike Washington quarter has sold for between $120,000 and $300,000. What you're about to see is the rarest Washington quarter error from this era. The 1969 triple die obverse is a holy grail for Washington quarter collectors. It's not just doubled, it's tripled. This means during die preparation, the obverse die received 3 separate strikes, each slightly offset from the previous. The resulting error shows 3 distinct images of Liberty, the date, and surrounding elements. Finding a triple die is almost impossible. It's rarer than finding a triple die Lincoln cent. It's rarer than most error coins from that entire decade. Experienced collectors spend years searching for examples and come up empty. Here's why this matters. Most people have never even heard of a triple die. They assume double dies are the maximum error level. But triple dies exist. They're real, and they're worth an astronomical amount of money. The 1969 quarter is the right year, and it features one of the most dramatic die errors ever created at the U.S. Mint. When one of these coins surfaces, collectors take notice immediately. What the triple die looks like, exact details. This is extremely noticeable once you examine it carefully. Look at Liberty on the obverse. The letters should show 3 distinct layers of doubling, not just 2, 3. Each letter appears offset, creating a ghost-like shadow effect that repeats 3 times. The date 1969 below Washington's chin will also show tripling. The 1, 9, 6, and final 9 all display 3 distinct strikes progressively offset. The phrase "In God We Trust" above Washington's head will show the same dramatic tripling. Washington's portrait itself shows tripling. His hair, facial features, and jacket all display the repeated offset effect. Why this triple die happened? During die preparation, the obverse die received 3 separate striking blows to create the design. Each blow was offset from the previous one, creating the triple defect. Normally, dies are precisely aligned, but this error slipped through quality control. The defective dies struck thousands of coins before being identified and removed from the press. Why triple dies are legendary? Triple die errors are extraordinarily rare from any year. The fact that one exists in Washington quarters makes it historically significant. Museums want these coins. Private collectors obsess over them, and they almost never surface in circulation or old collections. Most circulated coins get spent repeatedly and get damaged or lost. The coins that survive in good condition usually end up preserved in collections immediately when their rarity becomes apparent. Finding a triple die 1969 quarter in circulation is statistically almost impossible, but one might be sitting in an old collection you haven't examined yet. Important, handle with extreme care. A coin of this rarity and value needs proper storage and protection. Never clean, never touch the fields, never expose it to harsh conditions. The protective holder itself becomes critical. This coin is too valuable to risk damage. 2026 market update. The 1969 triple die obverse Washington quarter remains one of the most sought-after Washington quarter errors in existence. It's attracting international collector attention. Whenever an example surfaces, competition among buyers is fierce. These coins almost never appear at auction because owners refuse to part with them. When one does surface, it becomes a major event in the numismatic community. The value, build this moment. A regular 1969 quarter is worth 25 cents. Most 1969 quarters are worth 50 cents to $1. Even nice circulated examples might reach $50. But a genuine high-grade 1969 triple die obverse Washington quarter has sold for more than $800,000 at auction. Some examples are estimated at over $1 million. This is a reality of the rare coin market in 2026. Valuable coins are still being spent. Right now, someone is using a rare quarter, perhaps with a dramatic double die or proof-like strike, to buy coffee without realizing what they're holding. Rare coins continue hiding in old collections, kitchen jars, desk drawers, and boxes and attics everywhere. One overlooked detail, a double die, a full-step strike, a dramatic error, can make the difference between a 25-cent coin and a coin worth a small fortune. You might own one of these coins without knowing it. You might have spotted one in change and passed it by, or they might be sitting in a collection someone gave you years ago, completely untouched and unexamined. The coins in this video are more than just metal. They're hidden wealth sitting in plain sight, and the only thing standing between you and discovering one is knowing what to look for. Check your coins. Examine your collections. Look at the fine details. Pay attention to the errors and varieties. Because in 2026, the hunt for rare coins is more active than ever, and the next discovered example could be in your possession right now.